Test 1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
Eight, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20.
Perfect. Thank you so much.
Here's a YouTube audio test, 5, 6, 7, 8. 9321.
Chair Christie, are you still on the line?
Chair Christie, are you still on the line?
Here you go.
Chair Christie, are you still on the line?
Here you
Chair Christie, are you still on the line?
go. Wait a minute. You're right. What happened?
We need the volume turned down on your device that you're watching the meeting on. For YouTube.
Okay, I have, okay, do I get out of my phone? I phoned in.
No.
Do I get out of the phone?
No. On YouTube, make sure the YouTube sound is turned off. Not on the phone, on your computer, on your wherever you're watching the video from.
Well, I just turned my, the one on the computer, I turned it completely off.
Okay, great.
Is that what you're talking about?
Yes, that's perfect. It sounds better now. We were getting some feedback, but we are not having that issue anymore. So we have how many commissioners online?
Now we have
Marashi,
Hitterdale,
Hitterdale, Christie,
Schaefer.
and Schaefer. Okay, so we have 4 commissioners. We're waiting for the second half, so we'll wait a few more minutes and we'll make contact when we have more commissioners come online.
By any chance?
Not yet.
I think Mike is no longer Ward 6 representative. I think he is community redevelopment and housing.
No, he was actually appointed a Ward 6 in February.
I thought he was now community redevelopment and housing.
No, he was appointed Ward 6 in February.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah, so we
My
updated.
mistake. I'm so sorry.
Oh, it's okay. So we'll just hold and wait for the other commissioners to come online, and we'll check back in a few minutes. Commissioner Rush?
Yes, I'm here.
Okay, great. We have you on. So we are waiting for just a few more. Please hang tight. Welcome, Commissioner Tardif. We're just waiting for a couple more people. Chair, we're just waiting for Commissioner Hardy. At this time, it would be up to you if you want to go ahead and get started, or if you wanted to wait a couple minutes for her to join.
Let's get started, okay? All right.
Oh, just one moment. I'm getting some. What are the last three numbers? Okay, 759. Caller with the last three numbers of 759. Can you please identify yourself? Caller with the last three numbers 759 of your phone number. You've been unmuted. Can you please identify yourself?
I am Ron Tucci.
Ron Tukey. Okay. Thank you, Ron. We're just setting up. Just one moment. Thank you.
I just have a question.
Yes.
Are you going to show an American flag on YouTube so we can pledge allegiance, or how do we do this?
Normally, if we're planning commission, we would show the video. Yes, there will be a screen of the room that we're in, and there is a flag here. So it should have a screen that's going to switch to see the room that we're in. Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
thank you.
No problem. So we're just going to move the flag to make sure that it's in the view of you guys. And Janelle's not on yet. Her phone number is on there, is listed on there. Chair Christie, if you don't mind, I'm just going to make quick communication with Commissioner Hardy to make sure that she's not having any technical difficulty.
That's fine.
Okay, just one second. Okay, Chair Christie, I just tried reaching her on her cell phone. I wasn't able to do so, so we are ready to start when you are.
Okay. Okay. Hi, everyone. I'd like to call the special meeting of June 4th, 2020 to order. Will we please stand and say the Pledge of Allegiance?
Yes. Is it on the view of the... Just one moment. Switch the view.
Okay. Put your hands over your heart. Ready, begin.
I
I
pledge
pledge allegiance
to the flag
to the
of the
flag
United States
of the United States of America
on which it stands,
and to the republic for which it stands,
one nation,
one nation under God, indivisible,
with liberty
with
and
liberty and justice for all. Thank you.
Yes, it did. You switched it back? Okay.
Okay, will the secretary please call roll? Okay,
Chair Christie,
here,
Commissioner Hardy, Commissioner Hitterdale,
here,
Commissioner Marashi,
here,
Commissioner Rivera, Commissioner
Here.
Rivera, Commissioner Rush,
present,
Vice Chair Schaefer,
I'm here.
And Commissioner Tardif.
I'm here.
Chair, you have quorum.
And before we get started, I would like to also note that this is Ryan Hodge from the City Attorney's Office. I'm on the line as well to assist with any legal questions that may arise.
Oh, thank you. And Brian? Hi, Brian. How are you?
Ryan Hodge.
Doing well, thank you, Chair.
Okay. 7. Okay. Okay. Now I invite the Commission Secretary to describe the way the public can access this virtual meeting.
Thank you,
Sarah,
Chair.
if you please.
Thank you, Chair. This meeting is being live streamed via YouTube at www.youtube.com/City of Santa Ana video/live and to our website www.santa-ana.org/cc/city-meetings. While the meeting is in progress, the public may provide a comment by phone. To comment by phone, please dial 1-669-900-9128. Enter meeting ID 315-965-149, followed by the pound. When prompted for a participant ID, please just enter pound. When the item that you would like to comment on is being discussed, please dial *9. When the comment period is opened, I will call on you by the last 3 numbers listed on the caller ID. When you are called on, please state your name, your position on the matter, and your comment. You will have 3 minutes. I will alert you when your time is up. Back to you, Chair.
Thank you so much, Sarah. Okay, moving on to public comments on non-agendized items. Secretary, do we have anyone who wishes to speak? This is non-agendized.
If you would like to speak on a non-agenda item, please press *9 now. We'll wait a couple of seconds to see if we have anyone. Chair, no one wishes to speak on non-agenda items.
Thank you so much. Okay, moving on, let's go to the consent calendar, and I'm going to take the first. Okay, this is minutes of the special meeting held on January 23rd, 2020, and I have a few members that were absent. So, is there a motion to approve that minute?
I move paper.
Okay, wait a minute. Who said what?
Commissioners, if you could please state your name before you motion, that would be helpful. Thank you.
Mike Tardif motions to approve.
Okay, moved by, no, Mike, you were absent. You were not there. Can I have either Larry or Ed or Tim?
This is Larry Hitterdale. I move to approve the minutes of the meeting of January 23rd.
Okay, is there a second?
This is Commissioner Rush. Yes, I'll second.
Okay, moved by Commissioner Heatherdale, second by Commissioner Rush. All those in favor, say aye.
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 And Commissioner,
Aye.
Chair, I will conduct a roll call vote.
Okay.
Christie, if this is Mike Tardif, I was present at that meeting January 23rd.
Did you? Okay, no problem. I'm sorry, Mike, we have you as not there. Listen. Okay, thank you. Okay, do the roll call, Sarah, please.
Yes, Chair Christie,
Yes?
Commissioner Hardy. She on the line? Okay.
Aye.
Oh, aye. Oh, great. We have Commissioner Hardy on the line now. She had a technical difficulty, but we do have her on. So, Chair Christie, Commissioner Hardy, Commissioner Hitterdale,
Yes.
Commissioner Marashi,
Yes.
Commissioner Rivera,
Yes.
Commissioner.
Wait a minute, he was not there. Commissioner Rivera has to abstain.
Okay, I abstain.
Okay, Commissioner Rush
Yes.
and Vice Chair Schaefer?
Yes.
He has to abstain.
Vice Chair Schaefer?
Wasn't I at the January
Yes,
meeting?
he was at the January meeting.
He was at the meeting?
Yes,
Okay.
Commissioner,
Okay,
I'm sorry, Chair Christie, the only person absent at the January 23rd meeting listed on the minutes is Commissioner Rivera.
Okay, no problem. Okay, no problem. Okay? Okay?
Okay, and then Vice Chair Schaefer, I have an aye, and Commissioner Tardif.
Aye.
Yes, thank you.
Okay.
Motion passes 7-0 with Commissioner Rivera abstaining.
Right. Okay. And then I have a motion for the February 6th meeting. The ones that I had absent is Commissioner Rushy and Schaefer.
That's correct.
This is Janelle Hardy. I'll make a motion to approve the meeting minutes from February 6th.
This is Commissioner Rivera, I second.
I'm sorry. Who's second?
Commissioner Rivera?
Oh, thank you. Thank you, Felix. Okay. Moved by Commissioner Hardy, second by Commissioner Rivera. All those, Secretary, please call the roll.
Thank you. Chair Christie.
Yes.
Commissioner Hardy.
Aye.
Commissioner Hitterdale.
Yes.
Commissioner Marashi will be abstaining.
Yes.
Thank
I
you.
abstain.
Commissioner Rivera.
Aye.
Commissioner Rush.
Yes.
Vice Chair Schaefer.
I abstain. I was out of town for my father-in-law's funeral.
Thank you.
Oh, I'm so sorry.
Commissioner Tardif.
Aye.
Thank you. Motion passes 6-0 with Commissioner Marashi and Vice Chair Schaefer abstaining.
Thank you so much. Okay, that's on the consent, and let's move forward. A to C, call the roll, absent, in the consent calendar. We're now moving on to the business calendar. Okay. Please note that the formal action of the Historic Resource Commission shall become effective after a 10-day appeal period, unless the City Council holds a public hearing on the matter. Then the formal action will become effective on the day following the hearing, and decisions by the City Council. An appeal from the decision or requirement of the Commission must be filled with the clerk of the council and a copy sent to the planning department within 10 days of the date of the Commissioner's action. The appeal may be made by any interested party, individual, or group. Okay. All right, moving on, we have the public hearing process. Okay. Okay, I will now review the process for the public hearing so that everyone knows what to expect. A, staff will provide a presentation and answer questions from the commission. B, the public hearing will be open. C, the applicant will be given the opportunity to speak, limited to 15 minutes. D, members of the public will be given the opportunity to comment, limited to 3 minutes. The applicant will be given an opportunity to respond to the comments made by the public, limited to 5 minutes. The public hearing will then be closed. Discussion will return to the commission with formal action taken to approve, deny, or continue review of the application. Wow. Please consider the following suggestions when organizing your comments. 1, please state your name and address, strictly voluntary. 2, state whether you support, oppose, or neutral on the proposal. 3, your statement should include all pertinent facts within your knowledge. That's it, right?
Yes.
Okay. Okay, here we go. This is the time and place to consider item number 1, historic exterior modification application number 2019-11 for the property located at 1228 North Broadway. Please note, decision on this matter is final unless appealed within the 10 calendar days. Before we begin, do any commissioners have anything they wish to disclose as regarding to this item?
No.
Any commissioners? No? I drove by. That was it. Okay.
I drove by as well. I'm not sure if that needs to be disclosed, but yes, I did too, Mike Tardis.
Anybody else? Did anybody else drive by the property?
I did.
Go by.
Okay. Okay, wait a minute. Let's take it one at a time. I heard myself, Commissioner Tardis. Was that Commissioner Rush that drove by?
Yes.
I can barely hear you.
Yes, I drove by.
Who was the other?
Commissioner Schaefer.
Commissioner Schaefer. Anyone else?
Not specifically for this. I've been by there before.
I'm sorry, what was that?
This is Larry Hitterhill. I didn't specifically inspect it for this, but I am familiar with the structure.
Okay, fine. Okay. All right, moving on. Have we received any written communication, Madam Secretary?
We have not on this item.
Okay. The public hearing is now open.
Chair
With
Christie,
the applicant, yeah.
I'm sorry to interrupt. Can we please go back to the staff presentation portion?
I don't even have it. Do I have it?
Yes, it's right
Okay,
under
here
the
we go.
line
I'm
for
sorry.
the disclosure.
Okay, I'm sorry.
That's okay.
Okay, staff will now provide a brief presentation. Go ahead.
Thank you.
Good evening, Madam Chair and Commissioners. Thank you. This first item for your consideration is a request to permit exterior modifications to the historic structure located at 1228 North Broadway.
I'm sorry, is this Pedro? Hello?
Yes.
Doing the presentation?
Yes. Hi, Chair Christie.
Okay, I can't hear you. I can barely hear you.
Okay, we're gonna try something. You let us know when it sounds clear. Okay.
Chair Christie, is this a little better?
That's better. Thank you.
Thank you. So the property is located at the southwest corner of Broadway and Washington Avenue within the Willard Neighborhood Association. The property is known as the Patio Real Apartments and is individually listed as number 59 on the Santa Ana Register of Historical Properties and categorized as key. The site's building have distinctive architectural features of the Mission Spanish colonial revival style. Constructed in 1929, the U-shaped apartment complex consists of two-story end buildings connected by a central one-story section, combined in a U formation with a central courtyard. Character-defining features of the property include the smooth stucco, clay tile roof, courtyard configuration, the wooden architectural elements, and original fenestration. The proposed exterior modifications will be limited to the northwest corner of the property, adjacent to Washington Avenue. Specifically, the modifications will be limited to an existing two-story unit attached to the garages, carports along the western property line. The general scope of work will include removing and replacing an existing staircase, removal and replacement of existing windows along the first and second floor, removal of an existing door on the first floor, removal and replacement of architectural detailing, and the construction of a new second-story deck. This next slide provides site photos of the existing two-story unit attached to the garages that's located on the northwest corner of the property adjacent to Washington Avenue. These next slides provide an overview of the proposed work. Here you can see the existing first and second floor demolition plan, identifying the proposed removal of existing storefront aluminum frame windows and single light entry doors. The next slide provides the proposed floor plans, which show interior improvements, including the second story wood balcony and the enclosed staircase leading to the second story. This next slide shows the proposed exterior modifications along the east and west elevation. The enclosed staircase will add approximately 3 additional feet to the existing massing along the west and east elevation, and approximately 15 feet along the south elevation. The new roofing will include a new red clay tile roof system to match the existing clay tile roof. This last slide shows the proposed exterior modifications along the north and south elevation. The proposed exterior modifications are considered a rehab project, and as such were evaluated against the 10 criteria of Secretary of Interior standards for the treatment of historic properties. Staff determined that the project complies with the Secretary of Interior standards. The analysis found that the proposed addition would be compatible and consistent with the existing architectural elements that reflect the original style. The project would remove non-original aluminum frame windows along each elevation and restore exterior distinctive features and materials in a non-original portion of the apartment complex. The proposed enclosed staircase and second-story balcony have been carefully designed to remove as little historic material as possible and will be in a location at the rear of the property where they are not generally visible from the public right-of-way and do not alter the primary north and east facade and/or important spatial relationships that categorize the property. With that, staff recommends that the HRC adopt a resolution to approve a certificate of appropriateness for historic exterior modification application number 2019-11. That concludes staff's presentation. I'd be happy to answer any questions at this time.
Thank you, Pedro. Sorry about that, guys. Okay. Right now, we'll do, does any commissioner have any questions of staff? And please identify yourself.
This is Commissioner Schaefer. I do have a question. What's the existing use, the interior use of this space? I know there's a commercial storefront type look there now. Is that not residential currently?
It's currently used as residential. It's an additional unit that was attached after the original construction of the apartments.
And that
This is Commissioner.
that existing unit is a two-story unit?
That's correct.
Okay.
Does anyone else on the commission have questions of staff? Please identify yourself.
Yes, this is Commissioner Rush, I do. Pedro, so maybe you could put the graphic back up there, what was previous or what's present, what's proposed. Am I correct that, so this primarily deals with the north facade and the west facade of the building?
It's going to primarily deal with the north facade, the east facade, and then I guess the south. The west is also being treated. There's going to be an infill of an existing window, but that's going to be the elevation that's not affected as much as the rest of the elevations.
And did I understand you to say that he's going to remove those aluminum windows and put back the original, not the original, but original looking like wood double hung windows?
Correct.
Okay, well, and I'm assuming though, obviously those aluminum windows were put in obviously without a permit.
I don't recall the exact situation as to whether they were replaced or if they were constructed like that, but they're not certainly consistent with the existing style of the rest of the apartment complex.
But those windows were put in sometime in the last, I don't know, I'm going to say 10 or 12 years ago or so. But there's no question they were done without a permit. My other question, from what I see, I don't have a huge issue with what he's proposing. It does seem to be an improvement and done within the keeping of the architectural style of the building. As everyone knows, this apartment building is one of the most iconic courtyard style apartments in all of Santa Ana. I mean, I get comments about that building all the time, and but I would venture to say it's been at least 2.5 years that I presume the present owner went in there and tore out all of the landscaping, completely denuded the place, and the landscaping had a lot to do with the charm of the building. It added greatly. Is there any plan as a part of this that he's going to be required to go back in and properly re-landscape? Because to do this and then leave the building looking naked without any landscaping is an additional insult to the structure.
Commissioner Rush, I'm unaware of any plans to, as part of this project, to re-landscape that. I'm wondering if the applicant for this, or the owner, Bill Bruce, is on the line. He might be able to answer that at a later time during the applicant comments.
Well, I would certainly like to see that done. I mean, to have this building continue to go on and look the way it does is really an insult to the great architectural asset that he has. The balcony that's going to be added did I understand that to be an inch, that it's, surely it's gonna hang off the building like the others do?
The proposed balcony can't be designed to be exactly the way the existing balconies for the rest of the complex are, and that's because of the limited space for a structural post along the drive aisle. So let me see if I can provide an aerial or at least a site plan. I don't think we have one, but the entry to that site in the garages is through a pretty narrow drive aisle, and the structure is pretty close to the drive aisle line. And so instead of putting a post right on the drive aisle and blocking any sort of access, this was a compromise design to at least reflect a similar style to what the apartment complex was originally, and still have it, incorporated as part of this design, which wasn't original.
So it's gonna be some sort of steel support, is that it?
In terms of the structural, how it's going to be structurally adhered?
Yeah, I assume it's some sort of steel support that would be stronger than the wooden support that might have been put there in 1929 when it was built. Is there any plan to make that structural support have any kind of wrought iron, Spanish style motif, gingerbread added to it so that it fits in with the rest of the building?
I can tell you that the design of the balcony right now is supposed to reflect what was the apartment complex's original balconies. We do have the architect on the line as well, who might be able to speak about the structural design of it and what the intention is of how to support that deck. At this time, the design is as reflected on the plans that were provided and what's shown on the screen. So there is no iron ornamental features proposed at this time.
Well, I don't know about the rest of the commission, but I sure feel like we're operating at an extreme handicap. We have one visual to look at, and that's it. We can't talk to the applicant, and the architect is silent. This is a very, very inferior process.
Commissioner Rush, the applicant is available to speak. If you'd like for him to speak now, he can do so, or we can wait until the public hearing is open for him to provide comment to your question. But Chair Christie, you can decide when you'd like for him to comment.
Okay, I want him to, on the public open hearing, okay?
Okay, great.
Let's, right now, we're in with the, comments and questions of staff by the commission, okay?
This is Vice Schaefer. I have one other question for Ryan. You said this was a later addition. Do we know what year this unit was constructed or added to the original complex?
I can take a look at the DPR form to see if it was included on here. Give me 1 second. So the garages were constructed in 1940, so it looks like they were done 11 years after the first apartment house. And so while our building permit information doesn't specifically outline this as a unit attached to the garages, it's staff's assumption that that would have been constructed during the same time, during the 1940s.
Thank you.
Any other commissioners wish to question staff?
This is Janelle Hardy.
Okay, Janelle?
I have a comment. Yes, I've been wondering about the landscaping also. If maybe the property owner at some point could let us know what his ideas are about why the landscaping has been removed and kind of piles of dirt or something. I agree, everybody notices this apartment complex, whether they live in the city or not, and over the years, people have commented about, noticing this iconic apartment structure. So I'm sure there's all kinds of people wondering what's going on with the landscaping. So that's my comment. Thank you.
Thank you. Anyone else? Okay, let's move forward. Have we received any written communication, Madam Secretary?
No comments have been received for this item.
Okay. Now is the time for the public hearing to open. At this point, would the applicant like to speak on this matter?
Applicant or representative of the applicant, you may speak at this point. And just
Hello.
one, yes.
This is Mr. Bruce, the applicant.
I'm sorry, your name again, please?
Yeah, this is William Bruce, the applicant to the 1228 North Broadway.
Okay, Mr. Bruce, go ahead, please. Thank you.
Thank you, Commissioners. I appreciate your comments. Regarding the landscaping, I had taken out a number of trees that were damaging the foundation at the property, and such that upon the removal of the overgrown trees, I had spent hundreds of thousands of dollars on putting new foundation on the building and retrofitting it to earthquake qualifications. I do have all the intent to come back and re-landscape, paint and re-landscape the property. Believe me, this has been a lifetime work in this project. I've spent a tremendous amount of money, and I will not leave it anything close to what it looks like today.
Madam Chair, can I ask a question?
Mr. Bruce, any other, you've heard the commissioner's concerns that they have. Is there anything else that you wish to address or answer?
Well, again, if there's architectural issues that they are raising, I would submit to my architect to discuss with him what his ideas and intent is, and he'd be happy to speak to that.
Okay, is he there?
Well, I'm on the line. Hello.
Hi, Jerry.
Hi, can you hear me?
Just
I'm
barely.
sorry, is there somebody on the, I can't hear. I just hear barely squeak.
This is Jerry Minutes, the architect.
Hi, Jerry. Can you try to speak a little bit closer to the phone or louder?
How about this? How about
Yep,
this?
that's better. Thank you.
Okay, I took you off the speaker. The owners talked about the landscaping, which I defer to him. I'll talk about the existing structure and the design, and there's questions on the deck and how the deck's going to be supported. The deck is going to go over the foot entry part of the stairs. It's only 5 by 5 essentially, so that when somebody walks into the door, they're walking underneath the deck and it's supported by the stair wall. There will be a post on the outside or a 2-by representing the same type of wood post that is on the rest of the structures, but it cannot come beyond the face of the building because it's going to see narrow. Pertaining to the windows and the rest of the design, we're trying to make a commercial structure that was originally built as a commercial and make it look more like the residential units, so that's all ties together. I'll answer questions.
Okay, thank you, Jerry. All I heard was Jerry. Please forgive me if I don't have your last name. Okay. All right. Now, does the commissioners have any comments or questions of the applicant? And I did hear Commissioner Rush did you have a question, or was it answered by the architect?
Yeah, more or less.
I'm sorry, I can barely hear you.
I have no further comment.
Okay, thank you. Any other commissioners that have any questions?
This is Janelle Hardy.
Hi, Gina.
Hi, Chair Christie. I just wanted to make a comment.
Yes, go ahead.
I want to thank the applicant, Mr. Bruce, for addressing his plans about landscaping, and I can see how he has had to address foundation issues and removing trees. I understand that now that he explains it. And then I can see how Gary, the architect, I can see how the deck is being supported by the staircase wall. I can understand that also. So thank you for those explanations, both of you. That's it, Commissioner Chair.
Thank you so much.
Chair Christie.
This is all new to all of us, believe me. Any other commissioner?
Commissioner
I would just like
Commissioner Marashi. I have a couple of comments.
Go ahead, Commissioner Marashi.
First of all, I love your building. I mean, I can't help when I drive down Broadway to go home. Just look at that as I drive by. It just grabs your attention. So I appreciate all the effort you're putting into keeping that looking historic and all the preserving it. And I also appreciate the detail you're putting in the balcony, and I also completely understand how you can't bring it out further, that you're putting it on top of a section of the building that's already there. But I appreciate you putting in the little supports that make it look like it next to the doors that I see in the picture. So thank you for all that. I guess the only comment I really had besides that was when I look at the proposed floor plan for the bottom floor, right next to the door where you walk in to go up the stairs, it looks like you're taking out you're keeping the two windows, but you're removing them and replacing them with ones that kind of match the area, and then you're putting the little detail above it. And then you're removing the door and you're patching the door to match. But the thing I noticed was when you look at the actual, that's in a picture, but when you look at the floor plan, it looks like you still have a door in there in the detail in that drawing. So I just wanted to comment about that. Looks like you have two windows and still a door in the middle. Actually, it's not a door because you don't see the swing feature, but there's some other detail, like it almost may be just another window. Do you see that?
I don't have the plans up at this particular
Okay,
point.
all right. Just something I saw, but anyway.
I think that's an infill.
Okay. No, that's a symbol for an infill? Okay. All right. Well, great. But thank you. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Commissioner Marashi. Anyone else? Well, I'd just like to say to the applicant, Mr. William Bruce, and the architect, Jerry, once again, forgive me for your last name. That is such a focal point on that corner. I mean, you just drive, and you're immediately going to that particular building. And once you get you said that you're going to paint it. Is it a different color or what color?
No, it'll be very similar to the color that's on there now.
Okay, no problem. But once you put in your landscaping in there and refresh, repaint that's going to be such a stellar focal point that everybody is just going to turn around and just look at that and just go, wow, my goodness. So congratulations to the both of you for taking an interest and in this particular building. We really appreciate it.
Well, thank you, commissioners. I appreciate all your positive comments, and it will not be much longer. We are doing some garage replacement there also, I'm spending on, so they'll all have new garages. So
Well, thank you.
I'm hoping very soon that we'll move it up and get it done, and it is an iconic building, and it will further enhance the area once I'm done.
Very good.
Thank you,
Staff,
commissioners.
once everything is done, could we update our photographs on the building to include the final product?
Yes, we can.
Hello? Okay, thank you so much. Yeah. Okay. All right. Now we will take phone comments from the public. Madam Secretary, do we have any members of the public that would like to comment?
If you are participating by conference call and wish to speak on this matter, please press star 9 now. We'll wait a few seconds to see if we have anyone who would like to speak. Chair, no one has indicated they'd like to speak.
All right, thank you so much. I appreciate it. I now declare the public hearing is now closed. I banged on the on my table here. Okay. Does the commissioners have any final questions to staff? None? Okay. Madam Secretary, I will need a motion. So is there a motion to approve this matter? And please, Commissioner, would you identify yourself as you're reading the motion?
This is Commissioner Rush. I'll move to approve the motion.
I think you have to say the whole thing. Do you have it on the screen right there?
This is Commissioner Rush. I move to adopt the resolution to approve the certificate of appropriateness for historic exterior modification application number 2019-11 on the property at 1228 North Broadway Street.
Is there a second?
This is Commissioner Marashi. I'd like to second the motion.
Okay, it is moved by Commissioner Rush on the motion, and second by Commissioner Marashi. Madam Secretary, will you please call the roll?
Yes, Commissioner Hardy.
Yes.
Commissioner Hitterdale.
Yes.
Commissioner Marashi.
Yes.
Commissioner Rivera.
Yes.
Commissioner Rush.
Yes.
Commissioner Tardif.
Yes.
Vice Chair Schaefer.
Yes.
Chair Christie.
Yes. Okay.
Motion passes
on
by
this-
unanimous consent.
Congratulations. Everybody, let's give them a hand. Come on. Clap.
Thank you again, commissioners. Appreciate your effort, and look forward to finishing the building and having a great party.
Thank you so much, okay?
Thank you. Bye-bye now.
Bye-bye. Okay, Madam Secretary, this is now for item number 2, right?
Yes.
Okay, all right. This is time and place to consider item number 2, historic exterior modification application number 2020-03 for the property located at 2510 North Valencia Street. Please note Discussion on this matter is final unless appealed within 10 calendar days. Before we begin, do any commissioners have anything they wish to disclose with regard to this item? I drove by this is Chair Christie, I drove by the property.
This is Vice Chair Schaefer. I'd like to say that I have actually toured the property with the applicant, and I think that they've done an incredible job restoring this home from the foundation up. A tremendous effort's gone into it, and it is a gold star property that I'm glad is being preserved, similar to the last one.
Okay. Thank you, Vice Chair Schaefer. Anyone else?
Yeah, this is Commissioner Cardiff. I had the opportunity to drive by the property, the beautiful property. I've also discussed briefly the application with the applicant, Marnie Schnabel, and I have the pleasure of having Marnie as a neighbor of mine for our business properties. That's all. Thank you.
Thank you, Commissioner Cardiff. Anyone else? Okay. All right. Right now we'll have a brief staff presentation. I believe now. Okay. Pedro, you're on.
Thank you, Madam Chair. The second item is a request to permit the exterior modifications to the historic structure at 2510 North Valencia Street. The subject property is located on the west side of Valencia Street in the Park Santiago neighborhood. The Taylor Oglesby House is individually listed as number 386 on the Santa Ana Register of Historical Properties and categorized as a landmark. The house has distinctive architectural features of the colonial revival style and was built circa 1908. Character-defining features of the house include clapboard sheathing, the roof configuration and detailing, the massing, windows and doors, the porch, and the architectural details such as the porch supports, window and door surrounds, and brackets. The proposed exterior modifications consist of a new 480 square foot patio cover located towards the rear west elevation of the property. The patio cover is proposed to be attached to the north and west facade and will be visible from the public right-of-way along the northeast elevation. The patio cover is proposed to be approximately 14 feet in height, fixed to an existing concrete deck, approximately 2 feet and 8 inches in height, for an overall height of 16 feet 10 inches, measured from the finished grade. The patio cover will be constructed of a 6x6 wood box post and beams, 2x2 decorative wood guardrails, and a standing seam tin roof. The wood post, beams, and guardrails are proposed to be painted white, while the tin roof is proposed to be painted black. The next slides provide an overview of the proposed work. You can see on the proposed site plan that the work is isolated towards the rear end of the property. The patio will be attached to the north and west facade, visible from the public right-of-way. These next slides provide the exterior elevations of the proposed west, north, and east elevation. The east elevation is identified as the street elevation, and you'll see it in just a second that the proposed patio cover will be partially visible. So up on the screen right now is the proposed west elevation. This is going to be the rear. Up on the screen right now is the proposed north elevation.
We don't see anything.
What screen?
I see it. I see it.
Now it's there.
Okay.
Okay, so this should be on slide number 20. You can see the page number in the top right corner, and it should be for the proposed north elevation. The next slide is page 21, and you should see that in just a second. And this is the elevation for the proposed east elevation, or the street elevation. You can see that the patio cover is going to be partially visible from the street. These proposed exterior modifications are also considered a rehab project, and as such were evaluated against the 10 criteria of the Secretary of Interior standards for the treatment of historic properties. Staff determined that the project complies with the Secretary of Interior standards. The analysis found that the proposed addition would be compatible and consistent with the existing architectural elements that reflect the original style. The proposed patio cover would be limited in square footage and is proposed to be located towards the rear elevation to preserve the character-defining elements of the home's front elevation. The removal of existing historic fabric will be limited to one layer of three lap clapboard siding. Although partially visible from the public right-of-way, important spatial relationships characterizing the colonial revival design will not be disturbed, as the patio cover will be differentiated from the old with seamless metal roof and wood posts set back from the north elevation facade, allowing the patio cover to appear subordinate to and not overwhelm the existing massing. With that, staff recommends the HRC adopt a resolution to approve a certificate of appropriateness for historic exterior modification application number 2020-03. That concludes staff's presentation. I'd be happy to answer any questions at this time.
Thank you so much, Pedro. Okay. Now, does the commissioners have any questions of staff right now? This is just staff. And please identify.
I have a question. Chair Fiske, this is Janelle Hardy.
Commissioner Hardy, go ahead.
Yes, I would like to ask Pedro about the street elevation. And am I correct in the fact they'll be part of the black metal patio cover roof that'll be visible?
Yes, that's correct. I have the proposed street elevation on the screen now.
Okay. Can you tell me how that meets the Secretary of Interior standards in the scope of being a rehab that is that a colonial revival kind of material? Can you explain how that's appropriate, please?
You're asking about the metal roof?
Yes. Or is that just setting it apart that it's added later? You know, how does that metal roof fit into the scope of the rehab, and how is it appropriate?
So the standards don't specifically speak to recreating the colonial revival style. In fact, they advise against it. So the intention is not to create another patio cover that's going to look like a colonial revival, but instead create a patio cover that's designed to be consistent with that style. So the metal seamless roof is consistent with that style without kind of overshadowing the colonial revival architecture. It's subordinate, meaning that it's not overshadowing the massing of the two-story structure, and it's set back towards the rear. Yes, it's partially visible, but it's not the primary focus, and it doesn't affect any of the primary elevations of the structure. So with that, staff felt that it meets the standards outlined for the rehab.
Thank you, Pedro.
Sure.
This is Commissioner Schaefer. I have a couple comments about this. Number one, there is an existing step that doesn't cover the main facade of the house, but covers that side yard. So that's going to partially block the view of this. It is towards the back, so it's definitely not something that's going to stand out or jump out at you when you're looking at the house. I'd just like to say that this house previously had a very unfortunate addition in the 1960s, I believe, on the back. That was a flat roof type thing that, was very contemporary at its time, but absolutely was an abomination on the back of this house. And this applicant did remove all of that and has reconstructed a garage where there was an original garage, which I believe had burned down years ago. But anyway, for whatever reason, the Cole family, when they owned the house for 50 plus years, they made numerous bad additions to the house, doing some things to it. So this applicant's worked very hard, I think, to respect the architecture and bring it back. But I just wanted the commissioners to know that where this proposed patio cover was, there was a really hideous addition on the back of the house previously.
Okay. Are there any other questions of staff by the commissioner?
This is Commissioner Marashi. I'm along the lines of Commissioner Hardy, where I wanted to question the sand finish plaster over masonry that is visible from the street elevation. Is that really an appropriate material for that type of structure?
I don't believe the sand finished plaster is part of the patio cover. It might just be the way the elevation is shown. Let me see if I can go.
Well, no, in your elevation view,
I see
the
that.
proposed east elevation view.
I see that,
Okay,
but the patio cover doesn't.
That whole bottom right-hand side is all sand. I would expect it a wood cladding like the rest of the structure.
Can you see the site
I'm
plan?
available for comment if you need me to. Mike Williams, Cross Design Construction.
Sure. I'll tag you in just a sec, Mike. But Commissioner Marashi, if you could see the site plan on the screen, you can see that the patio cover doesn't extend to the edge of the front elevation of the house. So what you're seeing on the elevations previously were not part of the project. And actually, I'm hoping that maybe, you can't really see it on this elevation, but this was taken this morning. Behind that tree, I don't know if it's a sycamore or not, but behind the tree is that wall that you're referring to.
Yeah, correct.
Right, so it's not part of the project that we're speaking about today.
Oh, it's not. Oh, okay. All right, never mind that. I thought that was part of that. It looked like it was part of that wraparound patio cover. Okay, gotcha. Oh,
Are there any?
Let's go back to that one, not that picture, but the one you had prior. No, the one from the top. There you go. Okay, so what you're saying is, what I'm looking at is that vertical line that's going from the northeast corner of the house upward that has the arrow with a note going to it.
Correct, you're looking at this where the mouse is
yeah,
pointing to.
correct. Right. Yeah.
No?
That note right there, you just passed
No,
over.
no.
Okay, got it, right there.
No.
Okay, thank you.
Of course.
That explains it.
Are there any more commissioners with questions to staff? Okay. Okay. Do we have any, Madam Secretary, do we have any written communication?
Yes, two letters in support of this matter were received, and those were distributed to the commission, and those are also posted on the website.
Okay, thank you so much. I now declare that the public hearing is now open. Would the applicant like to speak on the matter? Are they on the phone?
Yes, I'm here, sure.
Please identify yourself.
This is Marnie Schnabel, the applicant. Hi, all.
Hi.
Thanks, Phil, for the love. We've been diligently working for the past 4 years on this project and have lovingly restored this home and have every intention to continue doing the quality of work that it needs. I've lived in the Park Sandy Oak neighborhood for over for almost 20 years and have always loved this house. And I think it's definitely a gem in the neighborhood. And we will continue to preserve its history, not only for, our enjoyment, but for all of Santa Ana to enjoy. So it's definitely a gem. That's it.
Thank you so much, Barb. We really appreciate you being here with us. Okay.
Thank you for your time.
Does the commissioner have any comments or questions for the applicant? And please identify yourself.
Commissioner Schaefer, I have a question for Marnie. Just in a big, giant, round number, tell the commissioners how much money you've spent restoring this house. That's
$100.
Yes, it's more than 100. It was more than I bought the house for. Let's put it that way.
You mean I could have gone to Harvard?
Exactly.
Oh my gosh. Thank you. As you can see, Marnie, we're a fun commission. We're with you and support you and everything. Okay.
Nice.
Okay.
Appreciate that. Okay.
Does any other commissioner have any questions of the applicant or comments?
This is Commissioner Rush. I have a question. This is not related to your current addition, but do you know if your property was the one that was previously owned by Robert Heath, Heath?
I'm not sure. I don't think so. That doesn't sound familiar in the,
Well, I think that Robert Heath either owned your house or the sister next door.
Right.
And strangely, the carriage barn from the Crookshank house at, I think that's 810 North French. Somehow, this would have never happened today. It wouldn't have never been allowed. But Robert Heath owned that house, and maybe it's your next door neighbor, and moved the carriage barn from the Crookshank house on French up to the house. It must have been the one next door to you. And,
yeah, that sounds like their carriage house.
And that would have happened in sometime in the early 80s. Might have been mid, but I think it was the early 80s. Robert Heath used to own the Spurgeon building, and
oh wow,
many years ago, before the present owner owns it, and before even the guy that owned it, that he bought it from, owned it. But I was curious, so it went to your neighbors then?
Yeah, I think it's the Bobo's house, because the Coles had owned this house since the 50s.
Oh,
and that
yeah.
they slapped that mid-century modern flat roof thing on the back, probably in the,
Oh my God.
I think it said 58, yeah.
Wow.
So.
Well, we would normally want to give them a beating, but given that they're gone,
we'll give them a pass.
You removed that ugly structure, so good for you. So.
Well, thank you.
Yeah. Well, thanks for what you're doing for preservation in Santa Ana.
Well, thank you.
Yeah. Yeah, I have no further comment, Madam Chair.
Thank you. Anyone else?
This is Larry Hitterdale. It is a beautiful house. Before the pandemic here, I used to drive from my house on the east side over to City Place or Main Place once a week, several times a week, and I always would come back to go on Valencia to look at this house and the one next door. I'm very interested in all the work that you've been doing over the years. It's just a lovely structure. It was something I really enjoyed going by and seeing it and seeing how it's progressing. So,
nice. Thank you, Larry. Thank you very much.
Anyone else?
Yeah, this is Mike Williams, the contractor for Marnie. I'm not here at all to promote my name or my company. This is one of the first historic commission meetings that I've had with Santa Ana. Most of my meetings have been predominantly in Old Town Orange because that's where the majority of my work typically happens. So as you get to know me, the company name is Cross Design and Construction, and I'm a historic preservation specialist. This is all I do is restore old homes. It's 98% of my business. As future projects, take place with you, and you become more familiar with me, I sincerely hope that you'll see, as you've seen this project, come to what it is today. The love and passion I have for projects like this, and when the patio cover was being designed, it was pretty much my whole focus was to make sure that it didn't have really any impact on all the work that was done on the main building. And the second thing with the secondary unit in the back is that everything is compatible. And to kind of address the one elevation from the street that the first chair member had is that when you have a setback of a house and you're placing a house, it's 30 feet setback, and then this awning is so far set back on that one street-facing elevation, and then that face of that portion of the street side visibility is not really significantly black metal. It's more of a complementary wood, either a vertical beadboard siding or shiplap, and then that'll be painted white. So that should disappear, one, because it's so far back, and two, because it's not black. So I don't want to give you guys a false impression that that's also a hip portion of the roof. It's more of a flat surface, and that's to hide more so the awning itself, so it just kind of disappears. So hopefully you guys will approve this, and we can continue to make this house to the very end beautiful.
Commissioner Hardy, does that satisfy the explanation from Mr. Williams?
Yes, thank you very much.
Okay. Commissioner Marashi, how about you?
Yes.
I'm sorry, I didn't hear that.
What was the question? I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Okay. You had something about the roof from the being.
No, it wasn't about the roof. It was about the side and the other gentleman.
Yeah, the side. I'm sorry.
Yes.
So is that satisfactory to you?
Yes. Yes.
Okay. Very good. Okay. All right. Thank you. Any other commissioners?
Chair Christie, Commissioner Tardif.
Commissioner Tardif, go ahead.
Yeah, I'd like to commend the applicant, Marnie Schnabel, my business neighbor here. She's doing a wonderful job on their home. My comments will consist, I'd like to read the comments that were emailed into the commission. They're very short. This is from the Thomas household on Virginia. We are a household of 4 registered voters. We're all in support of the project. Marnie has spared no expense in her preserving a home with historical ties to the neighborhood and the city of Santa Ana. The city of Santa Ana has a great wealth in the neighborhoods throughout the city that should and need to be preserved. Once again, this household is in full support. That's from Gary Thomas. Second email is from Dale Helvig. I fully support Marnie Schnabel in her request for the exterior modification to add a patio cover to the northwest corner of her house. As you can tell by the current state of her house, she has done an outstanding job of improving and maintaining the historical significance of this property. I expect this will continue and the property will be a showpiece of Santa Ana. Please approve this request. And those would amount to my comments, Chair Christie. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay. Anyone else? Any other commissioners? Okay, let's move right on. Do we have any comments from the public, Madam Secretary?
If you are participating by conference call and wish to speak on this item, please press star 9 now. I'll wait a few seconds.
I'm sorry, who was that?
We are waiting to see if anyone would like to speak on this matter. If you'd like to speak, please press star 9 now. I will wait a few seconds to see if we have anyone. There's no one that would like to speak on this matter.
Okay, very good. Okay. Okay, and with that, I'm sorry, did somebody say something? No? Okay, going forward. Okay, I now declare that the public hearing is now closed. Does the commission or have any final questions for staff? No. I just like to say that is a beautiful home, and thank you so much, Chalvo, for bringing that back to life. And everything. It is a magnificent, and it is truly the painstaking time that you had, and your vision for that home to continue to make it a landmark, and respecting that classification for that home. It is absolutely a gorgeous, beautiful home, and thank you so much for selecting that home and being in Santa Ana. Really love it.
Thank you very much for your very nice comments. Thank you. Appreciate it.
All right. Is there a motion to approve this matter? The recommendation is on the screen. Commissioner, identify yourself.
I'd like to make a motion to approve the resolution of the Historic Resources Commission of the City of Santa Ana approving the certificate of appropriateness for the property located at 2510 North Valencia Street, Historic Exterior Modification Application Number 2020-03.
Is there a second? Thank you, Commissioner Carlos. Is there a second?
This is Janelle Hardy. I'll second that.
Commissioner Hardy, okay. Please, moved by Commissioner Tardif, second by Commissioner Hardy. Madam Secretary, please call the roll.
Commissioner Hardy.
Aye.
Commissioner Hitterdale.
Yes.
Yes.
Commissioner Marashi.
Yes.
Commissioner Rivera.
Yes.
Commissioner Rush.
Yes.
Commissioner Tardif.
Yes.
Vice Chair Schaefer.
Yes.
Chair Christie.
Yes.
Motion passes by unanimous consent.
Congratulations, everybody. Ms. Shovel, congratulations. Let's give her a hand. Come on, everybody.
And thank you, Pedro, as well.
Thank you so much.
Have a good night. Thank you all very much.
Thank you.
Bye.
I'm looking at the screen, and it says 17 watching, and we have 2 thumbs up and no thumbs down on our meeting. That's great. Okay, this is the end of the business calendar that we go. We're now moving into staff comments.
Thank you, Chair Christie. This is Min Tai, and I want to take a moment
Hi,
to
Min.
welcome you back. Hi, how are you?
I'm doing fine, thank you. Go ahead.
I want to take a moment to welcome all the commissioners back. I'm glad we're able to at least to have a meeting to conduct some business, but also to provide you with an update since we met back in February. Quite a few things have occurred, obviously in the world, but we're still able to come together and meet in this format. The item that I want to update you on, and our planning manager Vince Pegoso will provide the details. Since February 7th, and after that meeting, the staff and I did present the recommendation of the HRC relating to the various issues that were discussed, and that was presented on April 7th. We did receive comments coming back and directions from the City Council. The staff has been working to bring back to the City Council as directed, and we will be returning to the City Council on June 16th with the direction that the Council have provided us as relates to the HRC recommendation. Vince Pegoso is going to provide you with an update of that. Vince, are you available there?
Yes, sir, I am. Thank you. Madam Chairman and HRC members, can you hear me okay?
Yes, hi Ben.
Hello. I'm going to kind of briefly go over, as Min said, explained to you a second ago, what we've been working on with your recommendations over the past couple of months. And on this first slide in front of you, we kind of bullet pointed down to about 7 different topics, from your powers and duties down to the preservation of trees. So Pedro's here with me, and Pedro will also fill in any blanks that I may be missing here. But so that was the overview. So this first slide here talks about your powers and duties that you talked about extensively. And we have a list of about 7 items there that we're moving forward with the city council with direction. And we're looking to get approval from the council to move forward, as Min said, on the 16th. And some of the items that we're looking to do is look at implement some short and long-term measures in order to protect historic structures. And some of those measures that we're proposing include creating the historic section of the planning division, which we have already done. So between Pedro and Jill Arabi, we have a double the size of our historic preservation division already. We also want to formalize the historic sensitive areas. I know it's been a topic of the commission in the past, so we're going to formalize that, take a look at the ones we worked with in the past, as well as approve a few other ones to be included in that historically sensitive areas. And then along with that, we're going to really strengthen our review of the projects within those areas like we did in the past. So any project that wants to be proposed for improvements will go through our historic team, and they'll take a close look at the improvements to be sure that they meet the goals of intent of historic preservation. We're working with our general plan right now. As you all know, the comprehensive update will be coming to you in about a month and a half with that whole historic preservation element. And part of our action is to be sure we have goals and policies that really focus on strengthening historic preservation throughout the city. So you'll get a chance to review that here in the near term. We have a set of design guidelines that were adopted by City Council about about 13 years ago now. And we're going to proposals to take another look at those historic those guidelines and make sure that they're still applicable, and add and modify and do what we need to do to strengthen those and make sure they're still relevant here in 2020 and beyond. We're going to look to establish a process to create local districts. I know that Floral Park's working on a district right now, but we're looking to put some language in our code and do what we can do to really make it amenable to create some historic districts throughout the city. And then finally, one that I heard Commissioner Rush talking about today, for instance, landscaping on the first project. We want to give you the ability to put some reasonable conditions on these applications that come before you. As you know, right now there's no mechanism, but we're going to tweak the language to be sure that if you see something that needs to be improved, that you have the ability to add that condition of approval to the application before you. The second one was you asked about the increase in meetings, so we're going to bring forward a proposal to allow you to increase your meetings by 50%. We want to go up to 6 meetings per year, so every other month. And then remember, you also have the ability to call special meetings if you do seem that it's necessary there. But right now you meet quarterly, and we're looking to increase that to 6 and also add more based on special meetings. There was a discussion about adding a representative on the Planning Commission. Our recommendation, and also based upon the council feedback we heard, was to keep the status quo. There's some pretty distinct differences between the HRC and Planning Commission, and we feel that it's best that we keep those two bodies distinctly different. There's a couple of changes that we can do to our code to further strengthen HRC and take Planning Commission out of your role. For instance, Planning Commission has a role in any projects that's in Henninger Park and Floral Park, French Park, and we're looking to modify those code sections there to make sure that any project in those two historic districts get reviewed by the HRC and not Planning Commission. So when we do that, we have 2 distinctly different commissions, and we feel that maintaining those commissions as they are necessary. You always have the ability to go before the Planning Commission as part of the public and be involved and give your input in any projects, and so that we're looking to keep that mechanism in place. A couple of other ones that were of interest to the HRC is fees. And if we break down the barrier on the fees, then we can get more applications in. So our proposal is to reduce the self-nomination fee, so the ones where they want to go in and put their property on the historic register, lower that fee from, I believe it's $3,500.
Approximately.
Yeah, thank you, Peter. About $3,500 and change right now, down to $500 to get more properties listed. And then the Mills Act, which is their actually tax savings, that'll be reduced down from about the same number, about $3,500 down to about $2,500. And we're actually moving forward with that right now. As I'm sure most of you know, we're moving forward with a budget update, and part of the budget update is to adopt new fees. And so we've included these two fees as part of our budget proposal that's going to City Council on the 16th. So you'll see that action pretty quickly, and that should break down some barriers and get more historic properties listed in city boundaries. And then finally, tree preservation was one that was raised by the HRC during your brainstorming session, and we are in total agreement with you, and we're looking to get moving forward with a tree preservation and protection ordinance. So that's just an overview, and again, all these items are going to be moving forward to the City Council. They discussed them again back in April and gave us some direction, and now we're moving forward with your recommendations. So that concludes this update, and again, they'll be before the City Council in about a little less than 2 weeks. If you have any questions, I'm here to answer them. If not, thank you very much for your time and consideration.
Ben, could your presentation, could you email that out to us so that we would have something in hand?
I'll send it to you, Chairman and Commissioners, within 5 minutes after we're done with this meeting. Absolutely.
Thank you. Thank you so much for your presentation.
Thank
Any
you.
commissioners, please identify yourself.
This is Janelle Hardy. I have a question for Vince.
Yes, ma'am.
Hi, Vince.
Hello.
This is related to the item about taking a look at the guidelines. I'm presuming you're talking about the citywide design guidelines. Is that?
That is correct.
Okay, so then my question is, are you also going to be looking at French Park and Hedinger Park's individual architectural design guidelines that overlay or sit on top of city design guidelines citywide?
What we'll do with those two is we'll outreach to the neighborhoods directly and meet with them, because those apply specifically to those two neighborhoods. The citywide design guidelines apply citywide, so we want to update French Park and Hedinger Park standards, so we'll go out and start outreaching with you directly to begin that process.
Okay, thank you.
Any other commissioners?
Commissioner Schaefer here. I would like to thank Vince and Min for taking this to the City Council, and I'm very encouraged to think that we have the end of the tunnel coming up pretty quick here, especially regarding the fees. So I know there'll be a number of people that will be anxious to get their houses on, and they'll be relieved to hear that the fees are much more palatable. So thank you for listening to us on all those subjects and for the great progress.
Any other commissioner?
Thank you for your time.
Yeah. Okay. I just like Min.
Yes.
Okay. And so forth. With the presentation, what was kind of like the next day, kind of like the feedback from you got from the council and the city manager? Is it something that is going to go forward, or are they in support of these recommendations? What do you think?
My sense of it is that these recommendations will likely be supported. They've been, they're tailored so that they follow the directions, at least from what we heard by the council. So, I would highly encourage all commissioners to attend, the remote meeting of June 16th, so that we can also provide the input and support to the recommendations made by staff. We think these are very reasonable recommendations that can be implemented. So that's our recommendation.
In person, or is this going to be visual?
It's going to be very much like the way we're conducting now. The city council is still conducting remote meetings. So, please, join by phone, join by YouTube, and you will be able to provide public comment and comment as commissioners.
Okay, thank you so much. I mean, this is really brand new for me. So,
Yeah,
believe me.
it takes a little bit of getting used to, but I think at least we're able to continue to conduct business, and I really do appreciate the commission's patience and the learning curve on this. You guys have been the best. It wasn't so smooth early on, but this meeting went pretty well. So if there's nothing more on this issue, I'd like to have staff also provide you with an update on a sadder note that we did lose a historical landmark. I think it's landmark number 14 on May 7th, and Vince is going to provide you with some information on that. But early May 7th, we had a fire incident, and I did forward some information to the commission. One of the concerns that I did receive back was, what are we doing to protect other historic properties in the city around downtown area, and also ensuring that we have continued property maintenance and security. On June 16th, and in response to the city council, staff was taking back for discussion and direction a proposal that would require the registration program for vacant properties, vacant storefronts, and vacant historic properties, similar to the process that we have for foreclosed property that require property owner registration. It also requires inspection. It also requires submission of a security plan, not necessarily a reactive plan, but one that actually proactively requires review by city staff and police department on what measure will be taken to secure the property. So that is also another discussion point that we will be taking to the city council. It will address vacant storefronts, it will address vacant properties, and it will address vacant historic property as well. So that's something that we will be taking as a result of the fire, of the loss of the landmark for the former United Presbyterian Church. And Vince is going to give you a real brief update on what has been happening since May 7th with regard to this site.
Sure. Thank you, Min. Yeah, so we're still working with the property owners on securing all the demolition permits. They still need a demolition permit, even though the structure's pretty much gone. They've got to cap utilities and cap sewers and issues such as that. So they've also got to get some clearance from the air quality board. So we're still working with the property owners right now on securing all those permits and get the demo permit issued here shortly. And then the last update is they still think it's an arson case, but there has not been any concrete documentation that's come back from the fire authority that's given us any additional information. So it was a tragic loss, and we'll work on doing better. So thank you.
Okay, thank you guys. I was also, Commissioner Rush called me and found out what was that church before United Presbyterian Church. It was African American church called Calvary Church. And they were there during the late 60s to early 70s. And then I guess they sold that building to the United Presbyterians, and then they moved their church down to First and Pacific. There's a building there. The only thing that you know is the church. It's the backside. You can only see the backside of that church from First Street. But yeah, that was an African American church before the United Presbyterian Church. I just have a question. what were they going to do with the building? I mean, anything from the owners of that building?
So, yes, let me answer that question. We have been working with the property owner to get them to reoccupy and rehabilitate the building to bring it back to the condition that it needed to be as a historical landmark. If you recall, one of the challenges to this site is that it had no parking. And at the time, the code did not allow for change of use of the building into another use other than what it was before without really addressing the parking issue. And, you know, it's quite obvious for anyone who sees the building and know the area that there's no way to create additional parking for this site. So rather than trying to change the building or looking at how to get additional parking, city staff did a code amendment. I believe, Vince, was it during summer of last year? I think it was summer of last year. We did a code amendment along with the transit zoning code and adopted an exemption for historic landmark and historic structures and properties in the downtown area not to have to conform to current parking requirements, meaning that they can stay the way they are and be able to change the use. So there was a whole host of use that we try to work with the property owners to get them to find they're turning it into office type use. They even talked about a WeWork type where it's a collaborative work share location, which could have been ideal because the interior would have been very conducive to that. They talked about converting it to medical offices. We're talking about looking at turning that into the banquet facilities. All of those we would have been able to address and support. Unfortunately, the property owner never took any real action, even with our assistance, to change the code and allow them to basically have an open list of different uses that can locate. So it was unfortunate, and you know, from the city's part, we were very disappointed that we did all of this to specifically for this property, and yet this still occurred.
It's unfortunate, very unfortunate that it didn't work. Now that it's no longer a historic building, it's, you know, it's burnt to the ground. Other uses can go in there now, right? I'm thinking that it's like they did with the United Methodist Church. Is that the one that is now going to be a low-income housing? Do you foresee things like that happening now with the destruction of that building?
We don't know. The property owner hasn't come to us to talk about any proposal yet. They're still trying to deal with the loss of the structure. The loss of the structure was not simple because there are hazardous concerns for disposal, and they have to address that. They also will need to work to provide the city with a security plan for securing, even though it's a vacant lot, we still require that be secure. So all of those things, and they would have to deal with the loss of the building as well. So I'm not, you know, I don't know what their proposal plan is, but right now I know they're trying to do with public works just on the cleanup of the site. But the answer to your question is yes, it will become available for new development proposal, at which point in time we will have to go through the city process for any type of proposal development.
Okay. Does any commissioner have any question of staff?
Chair Christie?
Well, I have retarded.
Yeah, I think I heard, hold on, Commissioner Tardif?
Yes, thank you, Chair Christie. I'm not sure if this would be for Vince or Min. This is not concerning a particular historical property, but it is an abandoned property, an office building that is ripe for the next burn down. It's at the intersection of 17th and Wright Street. It's on the northwest corner. The interior of the building's been all ripped down. It's 6. The security of it is just a chain link fence that is just kind of tied together, not very well, typical construction type of chain link fence. It's just ready for homeless to move in there and burn it down, just like, I mean, the building isn't really worth much, but it's a danger to the neighborhood. Do you have an update on that property? Is there anything we can do about it?
Absolutely. So, in addition to serving all of the properties, all code enforcement, under my direction, took an inventory of all the vacant properties throughout the city, and we will be taking action. I believe we already have actions on that property, and code enforcement is already escalating the enforcement. But as I mentioned, on the 16th, we will be bringing forth another ordinance that will strengthen our ability to proactively address vacant properties, vacant commercial storefronts, and vacant historic buildings.
Okay, thank you.
Any other commissioner?
Yes.
Yes. Any other commissioner? Commissioner Hardy?
Yes, thank you, Chair Christie. I just want to point out to the commission, and hopefully Ms. is aware of this, that at that city council meeting, May 19th, when it was a discussion, when there was a discussion about vacant buildings and the fire and holding property owners accountable, nobody mentioned the Cypress fire station. It was just like, you know, there was no sound. You could hear a pin drop to me. You know, that's how I felt. And, you know, the Cypress fire station is, and they were, you know, condemning property owners. Well, that's owned by the city or Park and Rec. You know, I mean, come on. That needs to be on top of the list. And these historic buildings, even though they're empty, they need to be attractive. We need to be able to say, yes, that's on our list of historic properties. This is, you know, and people need to be able to look at it and look at it in the context of where it sits and see that it's attractive and that the architectural elements are being protected.
I can't agree with you more, Commissioner Janelle. I can't agree with you more.
Thank you. I rest my case.
I can't agree with you more.
I'm sorry, go ahead. I'm sorry, I heard my name, Chair Christie. Who is it?
Commissioner Rush.
Oh, thank you. Go ahead, Tim.
Just a point of clarification. The founding church of that old church that burned up is Trinity United Presbyterian Church. And they were in Santa Ana going back to the late 1860s, and they vacated that church. They vacated that church in 1962 or early 63. The last sermon delivered there was in November of 62. Shortly thereafter, the African American congregation of the Calvary Church was there up to, I don't know, you had indicated in the 70s.
Right.
And then the building sat vacant for some years, and then became occupied by the Pacific Symphony. It was their general offices and practice facility up until into the, I think, the mid-90s, and then they moved out to a new facility, and along the early 90s, it became the home also to the Orange County Crazies improvisational theater group, and they were there and shared the building with them. But you know, I was, of course, like we all were very disturbed by the fire, and I just want to call everyone's attention to the fact that there's never any money to provide for security and prevention, but there sure seems to be all
money for cleanup and arson investigation and all this other stuff that goes along with it. And it infuriates me that we allow building owners to, not take care of their buildings, not secure them properly, and then afterwards everyone wrings their hands and says, "Oh, that's so sad that shouldn't have happened." Well, it's all preventable, but we don't do enough to hold people's feet to the fire. I am especially concerned about the Dr. Julius Crane House, also known as the Smith Tuthill Mortuary at Broadway and Santa Ana Boulevard. And the guy that owns that building, he needs to be told whatever he has to do to secure that building. He bought it at a fire sale. Never forget that. He bought it at a fire sale. He knew what he got when he bought it. So you got a landmark and you got to take care of it until it's been sold or leased to whoever's going to go and put a business in there. And the same is true for the YMCA. Both of those are absolute targets, arsonists. So, I'm looking today at a photo of the old, beautiful Broadway Theater, which was next to the Knights of Pythias building. A magnificent building, beautiful Churrigueresque architecture, and it burnt to the ground in a Christmas Day fire. Why? Because it was boarded up, poorly boarded up. Some homeless person got in there, set fire to the place. And this homeless situation is going to be the end of Santa Ana. But anyway, that's all I have. I will make one other comment, and that is I want to say thank you to the Schnabel family for their property there on Valencia. What a fine job they've done of preserving and enhancing that property. And also, I forgot the fellow's name, but the gentleman that owns the 1228 North Broadway apartments, he's doing a fine job there, and he deserves our commendation. That's all I have.
Okay. Well, I think that Executive Director Ty and Vince are all up on this, and that yes, it is a shock. And I'm sorry, I'm just not that old enough to go back to the 1800s. I'm sorry. Coming forward, but with that territory. But anyway,
I do have another update. I do have another update.
Who's that?
This is Min Tai. When you're done, I do have a different subject update.
Okay. Okay. But as far as with this and the ordinance that's going through to protect these properties, I think that Executive Director Ty and staff, are really watching this. And like I said, sometimes the shock factor kind of shakes everybody up to say, okay, we need to take action. So, guys, thank you for following up because, yeah, we were all shocked on the commission that building went up and with the arson, and like I said, we really have to protect our structures. So anyway, Executive Director Ty, go ahead.
Yes, similar related, but a different story. We did require that the North American Toll Brother building to have extra security and be boarded up based on the concern of issues around downtown. But as a follow-up to that, I did ask the staff to send out to you the updated status regarding the report on the historical elements of the building and whether or not it can be saved, what the findings were, and how can it be incorporated into the proposed project. The report was sent to you. Good news, looks like there is a significant amount of features of the old building that still remains intact, and anything that's been damaged can be restored. So there is definite finding that facade can be saved and be restored and be incorporated as part of the building. As part of this process, there has been a call that's been set up, a remote meeting, I should say, that's been set up for June 11th at, looks like 4 that was also sent out to the commissioners. And if you're interested in attending the meeting, I highly suggest that all commissioners, if you're interested, to call in and participate in that discussion. The purpose of the discussion is to talk about the findings of the report. In addition to that, but also to really discuss the recommendation of the report, how preservation and rehabilitation can take place. So that is going to be on June 11th, starting at 4 p.m. And if you don't have information, Sarah will send that information out to you tomorrow so that you will have it on your calendar. That concludes my update. Thank you.
Oh, thank you. I just have for Brian, our attorney, with this web card, since all of us commissioners are going to be there, we're not going to be out of compliance anywhere, right?
So the way that works is if it's a non-agendized meeting, then you are allowed to listen in as a member of the public, but you would not be able to participate because we don't want a situation where all of the commissioners are present and interacting. That would need to be a noticed meeting at that point.
Okay. That was my concern, like, is this a notice meeting or not? But thank you so much for that.
It's going to be a meeting that is a privately held meeting. What can be done, though, is that if we have 3 commissioners that you want to have represent the commission at the meeting, those 3 commissioners can discuss and voice, on behalf of the commission without creating a Brown Act violation.
I would love that because I looked at that and I brought my daughter in and I'm saying, what am I doing wrong? And then I looked at the date and I go, oh God, it's June the 11th. But the commission, what would you like? I would like to hear from the commissioners. Would you like to have 3 designated commissioners who, at that time, they would be able to comment? Is that correct? Am I hearing that?
Correct.
Be able to comment.
Correct.
Okay, so they can comment on that. Okay, commissioners, how do you feel? Please identify yourself.
Yeah, that's a good idea. Janelle Hardy. I'd like to recommend Tim Rush be one of those folks, one of our representative commissioners that has a voice.
And I don't
Tim,
feel like
how do you feel? Tim?
I would agree.
Agreed for you to.
I will agree to the pleasure of the chair.
Okay.
I'd like to recommend Commissioner Schaefer.
Yes, I was going to recommend Commissioner Schaefer. Who was that?
No, I'm Commissioner Schaefer. I'm recommending Mike Tardif, not myself.
Oh, okay. All right. Mark?
Thank you. Thank you, Commissioner Schaefer. I would love to do that, but at this point, I'm not sure I'll be on the commission.
Oh, my gosh. All right.
No.
Commissioner Marashi, would you like to be one of the 3?
No, I'd rather see Commissioner Christie, Commissioner Rush, and then Commissioner Hardy. That'd be my choice.
Okay. Rush, Hardy.
I appreciate that, Ed, but I would like to see you, if you're able, to be one of the 3.
I could certainly be one of the 3, yes.
All right.
And thank you so much, and I'm bowing out. I am so technically challenged on these things that anyway, I just don't run. So, thank you so much. So I have Commissioner Rush, Tardif, who do I have? Ed? Who was the 3rd one?
Commissioner Hardy, right?
Hardy?
Commissioner Rush, Commissioner Hardy, and we have Commissioner
Marashi.
Sorry.
Marashi?
Marashi, okay. Okay, do we need a motion on that?
No.
No, you don't. You don't. No.
Okay, thank you guys, and then you can, if any of the other commissioners have anything that they would like to have addressed, to the Toll Brothers, please email Sarah, and Sarah will send it out to all the commissioners, okay?
Okay, thank you.
Okay. All right. Then, anything else?
That's it. That's all I have. Thank you.
Oh, well, thank you. Thank you, staff members. Thank you so much, Vince, staff. And Lynn, thank you for the great job that you're doing on that. What are issues that we bring to you for follow-up and direction? Really appreciate that. Next, commissioners, any commissioner have anything? Comment
Yes,
about the
I
meeting?
have a comment, Chair Christie.
Okay, we're gonna do roll call. Okay, and Commissioner Hardy, you're first.
All right, this is it. This is the comment, commissioner comment, end of the meeting
Yeah.
kind of thing. Okay.
Right.
Well, first of all, I want to congratulate you for your recognition.
Oh my gosh.
I have that written down somewhere, but anyway, it's very special. Here it is for Santa Ana Chambers Person of the Year. So I want to congratulate you, Alberta.
Thank you. Thank you.
And I want to thank our homeowners and apartment owners for their hard work and conscientious work towards historic preservation. And I'd like to thank planning staff for all the hard work they're doing on behalf of the commission. It seems to all be very on point. And the last comment I have is about our Historic Preservation Awards for 2020. We kind of need to talk about that and see where we're going, because I think we missed our time frame. And that's it. That's all I have to say. So I guess I'll direct that to whoever can answer that question eventually about the award.
Have we missed our deadline for that? Because I know that Commissioner Rush had a recommendation. I have a recommendation and so forth. So I know that everything stopped. The world stood still for 3 months and so forth. So Min, what do we do? Can we get that started?
Yes, we have on schedule for your next regular meeting. I believe it's the meeting of July. So we
July 2nd.
Yes, that's when we intend to work with the commission to start that process.
Okay, great.
Thank you.
Commissioner Hibberdale.
Yes, well, I'd also like to congratulate Chair Christie on the Person of the Year. Really the person of every year, but this year it's officially recognized. And thanks to the staff for the extra special work on the recommendations at City Council, working on this very vexatious problem about safeguarding the vacant buildings.
Thank you, Commissioner Hibberdale. Thank you so much. Commissioner Marashi.
First of all, I'd like to thank Pedro and the staff for doing an outstanding presentation today and working with us on that. Second, I would like to thank Min and Vince very much for listening to us, supporting us, and taking our requests to the City Council. We greatly appreciate that. I also want to congratulate Commissioner Christie for her Person of the Year award. and a couple of notes for outside things in the neighborhood. The Waffle House, unfortunately, was vandalized. Windows were broken and stuff during the recent demonstration. So they're looking for support and donations. So if you can help them out, that would be great. And then finally, the TV show that's called Restored, who is hosted by a former Floral Park resident, preservationist, is looking for homes in the Orange County area to restore, to be on his show. So if you want more information, just go to the DIY website and look for Restored TV show. That's it.
Is that D as in David or B as in boy?
D is Do It Yourself, DIY, Do It Yourself Network.
DIY.
Yeah, DIY is the network, and Restored is the name of the TV show.
Thank you so much. I'm sure we have a lot. We can give them some great references on. It's a great show. Great show. Commissioner Rivera.
Yes, also congratulations, Chair. Then I also wanted to just thank staff for putting everything together and facilitating all these virtual meetings. I know it's a lot of work prior to and getting everything organized. So thank you, and also to those property owners that are bringing stuff forward to us. Thanks.
Commissioner Rush.
Finally, it is congratulations to Alberta for receiving the Person of the Year. That's quite an honor, especially being bestowed by a college with the history of tremendous people who have received that in the past. So congratulations, Alberta. And I think I'm already received. Thank you.
Commissioner Tardif.
Yes, thank you, Commissioner Christie. I'd like to congratulate you on your Person of the Year award from the Santa Ana Chamber. That's marvelous and well deserved. I'd like to thank staff for staying on top of the Historic Resources Commission's recommendations to City Council. I'm glad that's moving forward. I'd also like to put in a plug for the Santa Ana Historical Preservation Society. Contributions could be made for the repairs that they need there. And if this is indeed my last meeting with the Historical Resources Commission, I'd like to let you all know, Commissioners and Chair Christie, it's been an honor working with you all, and I've really learned a great deal from each of you. Thank you very much.
Well, Commissioner Tardif, it's been a pleasure to have you on the commission, and let's just keep our fingers crossed that you continue to be with us on the commission. We really appreciate your input and your comments. And thank you for serving.
Much appreciated.
Vice Chair Schaefer.
Yes, thank you very much. Well, I'll start with Mike Tardif. I think in the past, the way this has worked is you stay on the commission until a replacement is appointed. So just because there's a new council person doesn't mean you're necessarily out, and we don't know how fast she'll move to fill your seat. So hopefully she'd even consider reappointing you.
That'd be great.
That would be a good choice.
So I appreciate that you, sorry to interrupt in your time, that you would consider me to be a representative for the meeting on the Orange County Title Building, that virtual presentation. I will still be on the commission during that meeting, when that meeting takes place, but then if I'm not on the commission after that, I wouldn't be able to bring back the information to the commission. So that was my consideration there. I just wanted to let you know, and thank you for considering me on that. And if anybody would like to follow up on what's happening with the Orange County Title Building, I'll put in a plug for safe, historic downtown Santa Ana Facebook page. Thank you. So I'll continue on with that. I think Mike is very passionate about that particular project, as is Chairman or Commissioner Rush, and so those two, I think, definitely should get to participate in the call. I'm planning on being on the call, but I don't need to speak up. I can listen in behind the scenes. Alberta, I'd like to congratulate you for your, I'll say that not just Woman of the Year, Person of the Year from the Chamber of Commerce. That's quite a high honor and well-deserved. So thank you about that. I'd like to thank William Bruce for his efforts to restore the beautiful, for 30 years I've admired that apartment complex, and it really does stand out. So I understand the removing of the trees that were damaging the foundation and probably the plumbing as well. There were ficus trees, and those have very destructive roots. So hopefully he'll do something that will be complementary to the Spanish architecture there. And of course, for Marnie, with the beautiful home on Valencia, I'd like to congratulate both of those property owners. And I'd like to say right now, I think they're both deserving of our awards at our next meeting. That we need to be they both need to be nominated for the work that they're doing, which is really outstanding and encouraging to see that kind of detail and money and attention placed on a historic structure in Santa Ana, especially with the recent loss we've had. I'd really like to thank staff. We've been working on this for years, and at times I doubted we'd ever get some progress. So thank you sincerely to each staff person that worked on taking our recommendations forward, whether you were behind the scenes or in front of the scenes or whatever. But I just think that's a new day, and I'm really encouraged that we're going to have a better voice with the City Council. So I think that's really a great thing. And finally, I'd like to thank Sarah and whoever else helped with the technical of the background, getting the test meeting going and everything they've had to do. We've all had to, what the new word is pivot, right? We've all had to pivot and learn new skills. I've been to probably seems like hundreds of Zoom meetings in the last 3 months. So we're all learning to do things a different way, and we're learning that we can do things a different ways. So anyway, that's all I have for tonight. I just want to say also, I'm sorry I missed the last meeting. I was called away suddenly. My father-in-law had passed away in back on Long Island, and so we went back for his service, which was conducted at a National Veterans Memorial Cemetery, and I'm the oldest man in the family now, so I was the one elected to do his service at that Veterans Cemetery. It was quite an honor to speak for the family and to be there, and so anyway, that's my excuse for not being here. It takes a pretty big thing to keep me away from these meetings. Thank you.
Vice Chair Schaefer, I'm speaking on behalf of all the commissioners. We're sorry for your loss, and we thank your father for being a patriot and a veteran and serving this country. I have a
Thank you very much.
now.
He was 92.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
World War II, the great generation, they're leaving us.
Yep.
One by one. Then, okay, on this call right now, how many commissioners do we have?
I believe we have 8. They should all still be on, but we have, 8 commissioners.
No. Oh, I'm sorry, I didn't clarify. On this, with the Toll Brothers, how many commissioners do we have now?
Oh, we have
the 11.
3. Commissioner Tardif indicated that he would be attending. So it's Marashi.
So who do we have?
I have on my notes. I'm sorry.
Representing this commission, I have Commissioner Rush, I have Commissioner Marty, and Commissioner Marashi.
Okay, so if Commissioner Vice Chair Schaefer is on the phone, that's a 4th commissioner?
I believe that should still be okay. You just wouldn't be participating because we do have 9 commissioners. Ryan, is that correct? So 4 would still be okay.
We have 8
Yes,
because we have a
this is Ryan from the City Attorney's Office. Since the commission technically has 9 seats, even though you only have 8 commissioners right now, a quorum would be 5, so you just need to be less than a quorum. So 4 commissioners would be less than a quorum and would be allowable.
Oh, great. Oh, great. We just want to double check so we're not in violation, then it'll come back on us, okay? Thank you so much.
I would like to be part of that. Chair Christie, I'm sorry, this is Mike Tardif. I would like to be part of that virtual presentation of the Toll Brothers.
I think we have you. Read the names again of the ones that's representing the commission.
Madam Secretary, can you help me with that, please?
Yes. I have on my notes, those that volunteered were Commissioner Marashi, Commissioner Rush. I did hear Commissioner Tardif indicate his desire to also participate, as well as Commissioner Hardy. And then at just a few moments ago, Commissioner Schaefer was added to that list because he said that he would be on the call listening but not participating. So Ryan, if you could add to that, would that still be okay if we just have commissioners listening on that meeting?
No, once you have commissioners participating, then you need to have less than the amount of quorum. So it can only be 4 commissioners on the call. Even if some are listening in, since some will be participating, we need to stick to that 4 or less rule. That's correct.
So now we have 5 that we've listed, so we can just take 1 off.
So Schaefer will bow out so the others can do it.
Okay,
I was going to say I was going to bow out and let Commissioner Tardif take my spot.
So let me. So it's going to be Commissioner Rush, Commissioner Tardif, Commissioner Hardy, and Commissioner Schaefer.
If Ed's okay stepping back, I'll do it. If he wants to be there, I'll step back.
No, that's fine. I'll step back.
Thank you. We have our 4. Madam Secretary, did you get that?
I did.
Thank you.
Thank you. Okay. Thank you guys for your congratulations. I tell you, those of you who went to my 75th birthday party on the 29th, yay, finally reached it. I hope you had a great time. 2 days later, that I got a call from Dave Elliott, and he sprung this on me as, guess what? We selected you as a difference maker and our person of the year. Boy, I mean, I almost ran into the back of the car, of another car, listening to that. So, I mean, it was quite an honor. And they gave me 2 weeks ago the award, since it's all going to be on virtual television. It is the biggest eagle I have ever seen in my life with its wings out. So, I mean, it is an impressive award, and I'm so honored, to receive that. And thank you so much. I hope you all will be able to be on the screen next Thursday at 11:30 and everything. Staff, I want to thank you so much for taking to heart our recommendations before the City Council and presenting it in a way that we had them all on board with our recommendations. And that's the whole thing, is that how do we work with that council to get them to come with us and not be, set off, by our recommendation. And you guys did a great job on that. Thank you so much for that. And commissioners, thank you so much for your input, because I know the frustration that was there, but once we came together as far as a workshop and putting this down into print and directing staff and working with staff to formulate a comprehensive recommendation to the council to see what happens on that. So congratulations to you for all of your work and working with the staff to get that done. And Sarah, I can't thank you enough for being so patient with me and getting me on this virtual stuff. Like you said, I'm an old timer, okay? This new stuff is just really, not my cup of tea and everything. And I just see that we have 5 thumbs up and no thumbs down, which is great. They loved our meeting, so give yourself a hand on that. But thank you once again, everyone, for participating, and staff, thank you once again. And so our next regularly scheduled meeting of the Historic Resource Commission is scheduled for Thursday, July 2nd, 2020 at 4:30 p.m. And I have meeting, do I have a motion to adjourn the meeting? Don't all talk at one time.
I'll make a motion during the meeting.
Okay, Commissioner Hardy, move.
Chair Tardif seconds that motion.
Second by Commissioner Tardif. Roll call, Madam Secretary.
Commissioner Hardy?
Here, sorry.
Commissioner
Here.
Hardy? Commissioner Hitterdale?
Yes.
Commissioner Hitterdale?
Yes.
Commissioner Marashi?
Yes.
Commissioner Rivera?
Yes.
Commissioner Resch?
Yes.
Commissioner Tardif?
Commissioner Tardif says yes.
Vice Chair Schaefer?
Absolutely yes.
Chair Christie?
Yes.
Motion
Thank you
passes
so
by
much.
unanimous.
Meeting is adjourned. Good. Thank you.
Thank
Meeting
you.
adjourned at 6:49. Thank you, guys.
Bye-bye.
Thank you.
Great day.